show you some movements and postures that are really good for strengthening and helping the pelvis, glutes and hips to align a little better. It'll really bring a lot of focus to the hub of our body, which is this whole pelvic area. And if you think about this as the hub on your bike, so being the frame of a bike, and then you have the two wheels and you have the handlebars and you've got the pedals. So if the frame of the bike is not well aligned and doesn't, like if there's any kinks or any bends or twists or anything else in that hub, then it sends the rest of the bike. So you could get buckling in the wheels, you could have misalignment in the handlebars, and that's no different to our bodies. So any misalignments, any twists, any funny business that's going on in the pelvis can refer into our lower backs, even up into our upper back and shoulders, can cause shoulder pain, can also refer down to the lower half of the body, so can cause knee issues as well as sometimes ankle issues. But the shoulders and the knees and the lower back are the three main areas that I guess we need to be really mindful about. So what we're going to do is start on all fours in a tabletop position. Shoulders above the wrists and hips above the knees. And just take a stance with the hands so that the fingers are really spread and your elbows, they want to be unlocked, but your arms want to be strong. And in this position, all I want you to do is just find what is a neutral spine to you. And one way that you can do that is starting to lower the belly towards the floor and arching through the spine. So your bum's lifting, your tailbone's lifting up towards the ceiling. And you'll notice that that's an overarch in my spine. And now I want you to do the reverse of that by rounding the spine so that you're really curving through the back. So this is your cow position, and this is your cat position. And now I want you to find a happy medium between the two, so a neutral pelvis, where the pelvis isn't tilted forward too much in anterior tilt, and it's not tucking too much in posterior tilt. So just finding a happy medium for your spine. And then all we're going to start to do is gentle rock backwards and then forwards. So you'll see that my shoulders are coming past my wrists here, and then back. So the bum, the hips are going past the knees and forward. And as you come forward, you have to really claw the floor with your finger pads to protect your wrists. So just warming up the fronts and the backs of the hips, of the pelvic joints. Just do a couple more of these. So you'll notice that my spine is staying the same, so I'm not flexing or extending through my spine. And then we'll come back to a neutral spine, come back to center, and extend the right leg out behind you, keeping the foot just in line with the hip. We don't want to open the hip just yet, so we want to keep a neutral pelvis. And start to bend your knee, bringing the heel to the bum. Now I'm going to open up the hip, but without collapsing into the left side of the body. So you'll notice that I'm just opening the hip, and then we're going to close it again, bringing it to neutral. Do that 2 more times. Opening, closing. Once more. And then this time when we open it, we're going to bring the knee towards the elbow or armpit. And then towards the left, back behind. 1 more time, opening up. You might hear some cracks like you just heard on mine. And once more. And then we'll change sides. So extending the left leg behind you, bringing that hip Sorry, bringing the leg in line with the glute but no higher. Bending the knee. Opening the hip. And then closing. So we'll repeat this 3 times on each leg. Notice that it's just my hips that are opening here. And then this time we'll bring the knee towards the armpit, towards the right arm, back behind. Second time, opening, circle. And one last time. Really engaging through the glutes this whole time. And then release. And then we'll come into a brief child's pose. So just resting your bum back towards the heels, extending your arms out in front of you. Resting the head to the floor. Take nice big deep breaths into your belly. And then we'll come back up onto the hands and knees. And we're going to do a modified chaturanga down to the floor, onto our bellies. So in the interest of space, I'm just going to walk back a little bit here. With your shoulders above the wrists, you need to start to look forward about 1/2 meter. Start to lean forward like you're bringing your chest past your wrists, and then bend your elbows, but keep your shoulders flaring back to each other. And then you're bending the elbows to lower down, and then bringing your belly onto the floor. Once we're there, extend your arms out in front of you, engage your legs, press your pubic bone into the floor so you've got length in your lower back. Start to slide the hands towards you, coming up into a sphinx position. Now you want to find an engaged core here. So try not to just kind of collapse into the pose where you bring the shoulders up towards the ears. Really lift up and away from the floor. Press down through your hands and your forearms, and then relax your neck. So legs are engaged, glutes are engaged. And then see if you can find any space in your chest. Opening up through the chest, and then gentle shakes of the head, just to relax through the neck. And then we're going to do some thoracic movement, dropping one shoulder towards the floor, opening up, and then the other shoulder coming back to center. You can do that a couple of times if you like. And the other one. And then from here, I'm going to extend this left arm out and bring my head onto it, and then turn myself to face you. So to start with, we're going to bend the knees so that they're at hip height. And I'm going to place my right hand in front of my torso, and then I'm going to bring the feet so that they're in line with the knees. And keeping the feet together, the inner arches of the feet together, and bringing real awareness to this outer hip area. So this is your glute medius, and then you've got some other muscles around. You've got your glute max, the bigger muscle. So all we're going to start to do is open, fan the knee open, and you should start to feel an engagement around this outer hip area, and then close it. We'll do 5 more of these. Open. Try not to let the top foot lift away from the bottom foot, and close. 4 more. 3. 2. And 1. Moving on to the second posture. I'm going to extend my legs out long. Flex the feet so the toes are, the feet are in dorsiflexion. So the feet are like this rather than pointing like that. And then if your hips are rolling back, just make sure that you first align your hips so that they're rolling forward. And you can even help with your hand a little bit out further. And then we're going to start to, again, bring engagement into this outer hip area and start to lift that leg up as high as you can without rolling the pelvis back. And lower. And lift. And lower. Do 3 more. So you'll notice that I'm keeping the rest of the body completely contained. One more. Now I'm going to bend this top knee. I'm going to place the toes onto the floor behind the bottom leg so that they are supporting me, and my hips will roll back a little bit, but I don't want them to roll back completely, collapsing like this. So I'm just going to keep the hips nice and aligned and open as much as I can here. Your knee might drop down further, that's absolutely fine. Then we're going to do just little pulses, this bottom leg. Again, without moving the hips back and forth, so you're supporting with this hand. Do 3 more. And then release and change sides. So I won't show you the other side, but you're going to change and do the other side exactly the same way as what I just mentioned to you. And then when we come up, now you can get into the, we'll get into the side waist a little bit. So we're going to step the right foot forward, tuck the back toes under, lift the chest, and even here in your low lunge, it's really common to see people doing this in our low lunge, which is going into the lumbar spine. We're not toning through the abdominals at all. There's no tone in my buttocks, they're completely relaxed. So coming out of your low lunge and really just being mindful of the pelvic alignment. So a couple of things you can do is bringing your hands onto your hips and really start to press the pubic bone forward. And as soon as you do that, you should feel quite a big stretch in that left hip flexor already. So I'll turn towards you, and as soon as you start to press the pubic bone forward, through here you should feel quite a stretch. If you don't, and you need more, then you start to squeeze this left glute. And then we'll raise the arms above the head, take hold of the left wrist, side bend, roll out of our side bend, bring the hands to the floor, and step that right knee back. And then we'll exhale into our extended child's pose. Inhale to lift back up. And exhale, step the left foot forward, tuck the back toes under, lifting up, press the pubic bone forward, find that really good stretch in the hip flexor. If you need more, squeeze the glute, raise the arms, take hold of the right wrist, side bend, and then rolling forward, hands to the floor, and step back into your extended child's pose. So they're just a few different postures that you can do to add in into your yoga practice, or just as daily movements that you can do to really start to feel and strengthen this hip area and become really, really aware of your pelvic alignment in postures. Often it's the movements that the everyday movements that we're doing off the mat. So in our lives, getting in and out of the car, if you cross your legs when you're seated, that can actually destabilize the pelvis and twist it. So this is a few things to be mindful of apart from on your yoga mat, but these are definitely things that you can do to help in your yoga practice. I look forward to hearing your thoughts and hearing how you went with it. Thanks very much.